What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the A Show, the 39th episode of the A Show. I am Justin. I have Meelz with me right here. What's going on, Meelz?
39 weeks, man.
Hey, I know we say this a lot. Can't believe it.
Can't believe it. Still can't. I'm sure other people can't believe it too. I thought they. I really believe people can't believe it either. But we're here, 39 weeks in a row. Shout out to everyone who's been tuning us since week 1.
Yeah. And before we even start, we're gonna kind of be circling back around to the same topics again because this week's been nuts.
Right.
But I just want to thank everyone for the huge outpouring of respect and love and support on last week's episode where we talked about All In and the Starcast stuff, and that goes from Stat Guy Greg to the whole Russell Rap account to Kaz, who works at WWE now. Everybody who showed us love last week, and really, I took that as a call to arms, and I feel as though everyone received it the right way.
I think so. I think it's I was very gracious by people who said this was an important conversation to have, and it's something that it's not really had quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very privileged in terms of everyone just saying like, yo, listen to this, make sure you listen to it, all this other stuff beyond the actual like wrestling scope of it all. But it was definitely a conversation that needed to be had, and I think we both got out a lot of things that we've been saying that possibly people may not have heard, but they're hearing us now. So You know what? Shout out to everyone who tuned in. Shout out to everyone who listened to that episode and decided to listen to episode 39 as well, and revisit a couple ones. Shout out to everyone who just feels the exact same way, because you're not the only one who feels this way. I've gotten DMs, I've gotten text, I've gotten all these other things regarding this episode. So it was pretty good. It felt pretty good, especially after the shitty feeling we walked in with last week's episode.
Yeah, it was. I still feel shitty about certain news that's come out, but overall, I still feel, I feel really good about where we're going as far as people of color having representation in the pro wrestling space, and it's a fight that's going to be ongoing, but it needs to be had, it needs to be said, and I'm glad that we had that conversation. But it's very rare we get guests on the show, and I just want to get right to the guest so he can join us for all the festivities of this week and have his conversation skills. A really good young friend of mine, his name is Cyrus. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen him retweeting very disgusting things on your timeline at H_visibility. Cyrus, what's going on? Welcome to the show.
I do not reblog disgusting things, but I'm happy to be here.
and Cyrus, you're kind of like a very polarizing member of our own Wrestle Chat. You hate everything.
Sure. I agree with this statement.
Mr. Cynical. More cynical than Meelz, I must say.
No,
a little bit.
No, I'm not.
I feel like we're in the same cynical boat, traveling down the same cynical highway towards the same cynical goal, somewhat. But, I get off at a different lane. I think he gets down a little bit further. But we get... it's just similar, but I think slightly more cynical. But you know what? Welcome, my friend.
Thank you.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time coming. You've been asking to be employed by the RNC under the RNC umbrella for a while.
I'm really pitching for it.
This is your tryout match at the Performance Center right now.
Oh man!
Drop down crossbody.
Collar and elbow tie up. Let's see the form there.
Yeah.
We're gonna get right into No Holds Barred. We have a pretty stacked show this week. Shit actually happened.
Yeah, we were ready to talk about NXT this week, and then stuff actually happened. So I guess we gotta move that back. But shout out to stuff actually happened. Applause to that. That deserves some sort of applause. Like, stuff actually happened on the shows that we normally for like the last 9 shows have not wanted to talk about.
I have to say, shouts to everybody who said we should talk about NXT. I absolutely agree that we should. We will have by probably next week, and this is going to be full spoilers. We're going to have the NXT Brooklyn card. They're taping the last episodes of NXT before Brooklyn today. So we're going to have a card by next week. So we're definitely going to be more ready to talk about the actual performance and the report card by next week. So actually, I implore everyone to come up with their own NXT grades and report cards. have them ready for next week, and then we'll give you guys ours. And I'm pretty sure people are going to call us racist again.
Oh yeah, easily, 100%.
Can't wait to see that.
It's going to be nuts. I mean, anytime we do a list, it always goes up. So,
well, speaking about racist.
Speaking of racist, because I couldn't let that segue just float by. Yes. Speaking of racist, I mean, this pretty much popped off. There was word that it had happened, or that he flew into Pittsburgh Saturday or early Sunday, but Hulk Hogan returned to WWE. Well, not returned in the full form. He returned as in he got reinstated into the Hall of Fame. If you remember correctly, about 4 years ago, he was basically fired and banned from the Hall of Fame because of these statements that he made on video about Black people, calling them the N-word, just really wild stuff that he said in that transcript, or actually in the actual video. He returned backstage at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. WWE flew in people that were not even working the Extreme Rules show. Did not tell them why. Didn't tell them why. Flew them in. They had a meeting where Hulk Hogan basically he basically apologized and said, this would have never happened if I knew that I was being filmed or recorded at the time. From what people say, and a lot of people have been reporting about this, Ryan Satin has a pretty good report about it. It was actually capped off with Triple H talking about the dangers of social media, Hulk Hogan doing his spiel, and then Mark Henry ending it by giving Hogan his stamp of approval. This sent shockwaves throughout the whole, pro wrestling world. People are, I think it's pretty, not even divisive. It's pretty much agreed. There is no reason why he should be reinstated at this time or any time.
It's not divisive to us, people of color. But I actually did I did the thing. I went on Twitter and I decided to search. I'm going to search Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan's name all after the thing. And a lot of people were actually, a lot of people who, may not feel the same way we do. There's definitely a group of people that definitely was just like, yo, welcome back, Hulk. Good to have you back. You're back where you belong. Blah 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 blah. And it's
yuck.
Yeah. I agree 100%. The fact that they managed to, first of all, bring me in on my off day. That's strike one. Not tell me that Hulk Hogan is there. That's strike two. Then when Hulk Hogan is there, have him talk to me about, first of all, Triple H talking about the dangers of social media to sort of to preface all of this is just like, listen, you guys got to be safe on social media. You know how it is. And then have him get into Hulk Hogan apologizing about, just the words that he said that he was caught on camera and all this other stuff. And it's just like, oh man, I could not be. I would feel a type of way if I were there, 100%.
Yeah, it is. Like, Cyrus, how'd you feel when you first heard about it? Were you were watching when he got fired the first time, right?
Mm-hmm. I was watching wrestling around the time, but I don't understand why he's back. There's been reports that they're going to do the WWE 24 on Hulk Hogan, and
that was debunked. That was debunked.
Okay, so it's just what do we need him for?
I think
what's the purpose?
It's been killing me to try and figure it. If it's not being recorded, of course, and that got debunked by James Ellsworth, who said on his podcast that it wasn't recorded and that it was just basically all hands on deck meeting. If that's not the case, then he's not going to be an ambassador.
I feel like they're still recording one. To me,
just having him speak in it.
Yeah. I feel like maybe they didn't record that entire appeal because there's no way to tell how people are going to react.
I feel like if there's a pushback, there absolutely could be a possibility that they renege on this, or to have him just be in the Hall of Fame but nothing else.
Right. It's interesting why they wanted him back in the Hall of Fame. I think he campaigned a lot just to get back himself and get back in a lot of the good graces with the WWE, because he's had this on and off relationship with the WWE for he's been hot, he's been cold, he's been on, he's been off, they've been reinstated, he's been not reinstated. This is coming just off the heels of earlier in the week, the Papa John's controversy of him Papa John himself saying, I don't know his actual name. It's John. I'm sure it's John.
It is John.
It's John saying the N-word and, getting pretty much not the boot from his company, but essentially being, having to step down as CEO. And just less than a week later, WWE steps forward and just reinstates Hulk Hogan. They feel like it's been enough time. They feel like maybe it's No,
and here's the thing: there is never going to be enough time.
No,
the shit that you said is like there's never going to be enough time. And you mentioned like this is coming off Papa John. This is also coming off. Keep it 100. It's coming off last week, and what happened with StarCast and everything that happened with people of color. It's like we said. A lot of people said we have no representation and no one cares about what we think or how we feel, and this happens, and it's just like it's proving us right. And then you have some of the people that are actually on that StarCast card are some of the people who are cheering Hulk Hogan for being back. So it's like it's proving us right.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the most what everyone sort of was not worried about, but at least anticipating or wondering about is, first of all, it's not what James Ellsworth thinks about this. I'll just keep it 100. No offense to James Ellsworth, but no one really cares about what you think on this matter.
He seems to be on our side, though.
Yeah, I will say, and this is reported in Pro Wrestling Sheet, of course. Ellsworth said that he said that he feels like everyone was accepting of his apology, but he added that he didn't like agree with what Hogan said in the audio, but he does believe he feels sorry about it, and he said that he wouldn't comment if he didn't believe that. And like again, we can all like thumb our nose up at that. We weren't there, but at the same time, again, like Meelz said, we can't really hold everything James Ellsworth is saying. But I do fuck with him for saying he didn't agree with anything he said.
Right. Yeah. I really, shout out to James for that, but it really doesn't matter. But I mean, we've had, statements. We've had Mark Henry, who essentially believes that he does feel genuinely sorry for what he does, but he has stated that Hulk Hogan still has more work to do. We've had Kofi Kingston.
He represented the whole New Day when
the entire New Day. Yeah, he sort of represented the New Day. I mean, good for it. I mean, I like that Kofi Kingston represents the New Day, and sort of releasing an iOS public statement regarding and pretty much saying that they respect WWE's decisions as a company and they're going to do what's best for them, but they do not necessarily agree with or support nor
any of the Hulk Hogan shit. His shit.
And will not feel comfortable or working with him in any sort of capacity moving forward, which I think is pretty I think it's something where I feel like one of the jokes I had just initially off rip was like, oh, they're going to bring Hulk Hogan back. And of course they're going to have New Day sort of parlay him. So it seems like they're cool and just sort of ease him back in. So, they could say, hey, he's got black friends, if New Day can get over, they can get over too. And it's really nice to just see that sort of New Day is taking a firm stance on this, and not in terms of just like hating Hulk Hogan, but, respecting themselves, respecting their fans who may also be people of color who, see the situation and could see a possible situation of New Day associating themselves with Hulk Hogan and be like, wow, this is it. Not only does it look bad for them, but it just looks bad, just the optics of it all in America, and just, siding with someone who said completely derogatory racist comments. And to be honest with you, I hadn't read those comments since 3 years. And then when I read it again, I was like, there's no way.
He's fucking wilding.
Yeah, he's wild. Like, there's no way. He
literally excuses that he tried to make up for is just like, we used to say it all the time,
Fuck no. Out in Tampa. Like, fuck out of here, nigga. Fuck out of here, man.
In Tampa, we say it all the time, brother.
Like what? No. I really respect what the New Day said, and I love how many of the wrestlers that are working there liked it or retweeted it as well, especially Titus O'Neil, who they had a very vicious rumor going out about that he left the venue, which was not true at all.
Yeah, I'm assuming he left because he had nothing to do. I don't assume he stormed out. Like, yeah. I mean, he wasn't really.
He wasn't at work that day.
Yeah, he wasn't booked on the show, and they flew him in, and he's brought on his nice suit and everything like that, and they have him watch. And I'm sure Titus O'Neil has very strong feelings towards this. Just,
oh yeah,
Yeah, but and he says he's gonna comment about it officially later on, but it's just,
I think that there are a couple things that are very telling about this, and I've heard a couple of things about it. I think it says a lot that Vince wasn't on Extreme Rules show at all. He wasn't backstage, and he wasn't at Raw either, from reports that I've heard. I think that says a lot about who made this decision and who wants to be held accountable for it, and who got thrown to the fire essentially about it. And I think this is going to blow up way bigger. I think it's going to be a real big deal in a couple of days, and I think someone's going to have to answer for it. And I really feel bad for like Triple H and Stephanie, because they're the faces of the company, and they're going to have to be the ones that answer for this, even if they don't agree with it.
It'll be fucked up if something else comes out on their part, but it wouldn't surprise me. But it would be, this is something they've obviously taken a very long time in considering how they want to approach this, and they have had a relationship with Hulk Hogan in the interim. I mean, it's not like it was completely dead. It's just a relationship that was no longer a business relationship, and they want to, I guess, move forward and believe that people can move forward and people can make changes. I mean, we've seen in the wrestling business for a long time that people definitely can change. But at the same time, would you say these sort of hurtful, vicious, and they're really actually hurtful. Like, they're hurtful to people. A lot of people are Hulkamaniacs, man. Like, a lot. Like, he represented a lot of people back in the late 80s and early 90s and things like that. And he was a hero to everyone. And just to hear him say those words, and just to think that you support a man who, says all these things, it makes you think. It really does make you think. It's like, who else? I mean, what's really going on? How do these people really, really feel?
Yeah, I think it's crazy, because like, we love this shit so much, and I think with anything, whether it be basketball, football, anything, it's trash, and I think we lose sight of that a little bit. Like, wrestling
especially
is just
the NFL.
Yeah, like we attach ourselves to certain things, and it's like, it's all trash. It's like this big trash spiral that brings us so much joy and so much pain. And I don't think I felt as betrayed and hurt by something as I did on for the past 2 weeks about something I love. And it just puts it in perspective that it's like, you love these things, but you also have to learn to love them at a distance sometimes.
Yeah, and that, I don't know, business and racism apparently do not mix. I don't know, like, or maybe they do. Who knows? I don't know, but it's just like, this is being courted as a business decision. I'm not sure how much business Hulk Hogan's gonna. I mean, he's a fair amount of business. He's still an icon, and I'm sure if you look outside of just the spectrum of the United States, maybe he's accepted. I know they're having that big show in October or November or something, and maybe he'll be on that card or something along those lines.
I think it's suicide. I think it is, and I was just going to ask you guys this: like, do you think he's going to show up on TV? I think that they are absolutely going to keep him off of TV for as long as possible until like the smoke is finally clear, unless something pops up. Because I feel like if this becomes a bigger issue, that like CNN picks up on it or something like that, which realistically could happen because ESPN's already reporting on it, I think they'll renege on that and just have him in the Hall of Fame and nothing else. But I do think it's suicide if they have him show up on TV at this point.
I think there will be a public statement before he actually officially shows up on TV, or at least whether that's by virtue of a WWE produced documentary or sit down interview or just something in general. But I do think there will be a public statement. I think he made sure, or at least they made sure, that they apologized to pretty much everyone that he worked with first. And then because he hasn't, I mean, he's gone on, the news and said those things, but I think he was going to have another public apology, I think 3 years later down the line and then they'll start incorporating him into shows. But I do believe he will be back on television in some sort of capacity, not an active capacity, but I do believe he'll be back.
I hope he gets booed out the building no matter where he shows up at.
Oh, he will be. I think if he showed up in New York, I think he'd get booed.
I mean, this is America, right? This is the same America who, the president committed like an act of treason like 2 days ago, and I'm getting into like my Eric Abris moment right now. Shout out to late fees. Committed an act of treason 2 days ago, and for some reason, like beyond allegations of adultery with a stripper, beyond a whole bunch of just other things, just what's going on, you know, at our borders right now, beyond all of that, he's still president. And there's been no, you know, movement to sort of impeach him or anything like that. So to me, this is kind of, it's the fucked up way it is, but it's just, this is America. No, you know, no Childish Gambino at the moment, but this is what it is.
Let's move on from this. So we'll of course, as always, keep you guys posted if anything pops up. I did want to do like an emergency episode when they got reinstated, but I was like, let's just wait till we can have a blowout, and we can wait till all the information is presented itself, because there was an idea that there was a deal presented, or there is a deal on the table for Hogan. And I mean, I'm of the mind that I think that's absolutely true, but I just think I think he's going to be like a traveling ambassador, talking about like what he did with the Boys and Girls Club. He's going to be doing like Be a Star and stuff like that.
Right.
I think he's going to do that for them.
That'll be wild.
Which would be, I mean, whatever. Yeah, it would be. I'd be like, whatever. But I mean, I think that's where they have him at. Don't have him on TV. Next thing I want to talk about the new NXT recruits reported for duty this week, and I mean, some of the big names here. They had a 24-year-old gymnast, Stacey Irvin Jr., a rugby player named Luke Menzies, independent wrestler. Her name is Lacey Lane. I heard she's pretty good. A huge former boxer named Tyshawn Dawn. MJ Jenkins, who used to be on Impact. She's now going by Monique Jenkins, and All-American wrestler Denzel DeJournette. But you also have, of course, the big three here. You know, whenever they do these like performance center things, they always have like the other guys that are like whatever. They might be from Impact or from like another country, and you have like some huge signings. So you have Deonna Purrazzo, who's shown up on NXT and for a while now. A lot of people have been wanting her to be signed, as well as Santana Garrett. But you also have Io Shirai, who we talked about 2 weeks ago on the show. We know she was coming to NXT. And you have Keith Lee, bask in his glory, PWG and MLW Zone. He had a great showing at WrestleMania weekend against Cassius Ohno. He's finally signed. He looks like 55 years old. He's really 34 years old. He confirmed on Twitter. But they're now here. So and Io and Deonna are confirmed for the Mae Young Classic as well. I think that was pretty much a given with who they were. So how do you guys feel about these new signees?
Go ahead, Cy.
Really excited for Keith Lee. I've seen some PWG DVDs, and hopefully he really stands out. Hopefully he has a match with Cassius Ohno again. I didn't get to see that at WrestleMania weekend. Dono Purrazzo, how do you say that again? Deonna, bro.
Oh man, don't tell me you're Meelzing this right now.
What, Deonna Purrazzo?
No, I know who she is, but I haven't seen any matches from her. So hopefully she shows out at the Mae Young Classic. Shirai, I've seen matches of hers. Maybe she'll be the winner.
Who knows?
I don't know. I don't know if she'll win the Mae Young Classic. I don't know.
I gotta see everyone who's involved, but I mean they've done a great job at announcing it over the last couple of weeks, and just I think it's garnering to me more excitement than the first one, and I just hope they don't drop the ball, because I really kind of feel like they did drop the ball with the first one. I felt like it wasn't like enough of a publicized thing. It kind of just rolled out all at once in a sense. And then like pretty much people who were involved with the first one were never really seen again, or maybe they're seen sparingly. But I feel like, it's just with these new recruits, I feel like it's a solid group of recruits. I mean, I'm interested in the reason why WWE really started publicizing a lot of their tryouts, because we know they haven't done that in the past. But now that they're getting like these world-class athletes, and they're getting, these, top name wrestlers and all this other stuff, they're really beginning to publicize it. So I think, a good idea on them. And we've got a strong batch. It makes me wonder more so like, we've had tryouts before. How many people are really at that performance center? Like it's a lot of people. A lot. It's like a lot of people, and it makes me wonder what's the because it's like you think of the performance center and how many people have been signed already. Like not everyone's making it to the main roster. Is it? Like, it's a lot of people. I mean, I don't want to be, you know, as cynical as Cyrus, but it's just like it's a lot of people. So I'm wondering, like, yo, is everyone gonna make it? It's just crazy. But you know, the process has worked. You gotta trust the process in the WWE. I feel like, you know, we're gonna make these things happen, and we'll see how it goes from here on out. But you know, props to everyone. Props to everyone who's you know, made it thus far and starting their journey at the Performance Center this week.
Yeah, I like they're both going to take some time. I just think that Keith's style is very. I think Keith's style is very indie-rific,
right,
if you will, and he can't have those types. He can't have those types of matches on WWE programming. So it might take a little while for him to get like the match stuff down. But I think promo-wise and just delivery-wise, he's fucking great. I think he's got it already.
Well, I think I said that I thought 100% the same thing about Ricochet when he was coming in, and I feel like he's definitely slowed it down to a much more WWE style pace and a slower pace, and one that's, you know, less flippy for the sake of flipping. Which I feel like, to be honest, maybe someone like Leo Rush could, you know, stand to work on a little bit, even though he's insanely quick. God, you know, but. I think he'll come along, no doubt. I think if there's anyone that's making it to the NXT roster first, it's got to be Keith Lee. They've done these things where they've signed these guys and immediately, you know, head them to television if they have some sort of at least a couple years of wrestling experience. So I think we'll see him maybe before the end of the summer on NXT TV.
Yeah, for sure. I think EO. Again, her upside is massive. She's a star. She looks like one. I think that she is insanely beautiful. I think she's insanely talented. She's got it all going for her. That they're gonna. I don't know if she's gonna win Mae Young Classic, but I do see her shoe. Because the thing is with that. Okay, we'll talk about NXT. We'll just talk about next week because I got booking for her already in my mind. But let's get to the New Japan, the G1 Climax 28, the first week. Meelz, you watch any of this?
Shut up. Why are you laughing? I've not. I didn't see anything. I'll be honest with you, I didn't see anything. It's a lot of shows to catch up on. I have multiple things going on. I'm preparing for another I'm preparing for another podcast. You know, all types of things going on. I did not be able to watch it, but I'm interested in what you guys have to say. So I'm gonna chill in the cut and I'm gonna hear what you guys have to say.
I remember telling Meelz on Twitter that the G1 has started, and he went, "Oh, already?"
Like, I didn't know. All right, so I thought it was starting on like Saturday, Sunday, but apparently started Friday, Saturday.
It started on the Friday going into Saturday.
Yeah, I thought it was Saturday, Sunday. I didn't know it started already. I was like, all right, I'm behind. Fuck this. And so I'll watch it later. I'll definitely watch it later. 100%. Like, when's the next matches going on?
Tonight, I believe, going into.
Never mind. I'm gonna try.
Yeah. It is hard because we are on the East Coast time. J5 got it easy.
It's easier for me. Well, the latest show, Monday's show started at 2 a.m. for me, so I didn't watch that until the day after or the morning after, and it still took me a while to get through. And I think that's just been a theme for this G1 as a whole. Like, if you acting like you excited for half of these matchups, you're a fucking liar. Because at the end of the day, some of these matchups are not that good. Like, I think that some of these matches were not very good, and I think as a whole, I'm waiting for it to pick up. I think the one match that I think me and Cyrus could agree that is far and away the best match so far is Omega and Naito from night 2, followed by Zack Sabre Jr. and Ibushi from night 2 also. I think Block B is by far the easiest of the 2 blocks to watch right now. Block A, I'm struggling.
It's a hard watch. Not all the high-hitting performers like Zack Sabre Jr. or Ibushi. Like, Miro Suzuki is really like great to watch, but like all his matches aren't gonna be, solid.
Yeah, like the Okada match, or the Omega match he had last year.
Yeah.
I think that right now that we're firmly in a G1 where it is very storyline based. This is more storyline based than they've been probably ever, and I'm talking like sports entertainment storyline. Like we're dealing with matches where DQs are rampant this year, and there was only one last year, and they've already run through like one of them already, or they've run through one of them already, but a lot of distraction interference finishes, and I just don't enjoy that very much. I get that enough on Raw and SmackDown. I don't need that on my New Japan shows either. It's really weird to watch.
And it's really weird seeing a DQ on the New Japan show because a lot of crazy stuff happens.
Yeah, Suzuki beats up referees all the time, and he never gets disqualified for it. And he does it. And I believe in one of these matches, the Suzuki Makabe match, they beat up referees for like 5 minutes, and they don't get disqualified for it.
He was tossing his ass around. Suzuki was throwing like, barricades, and then referees like stop it, and then he just chucks him, and then he goes back to the ring to try to count him out, and then Suzuki goes back in and pushes him again.
It's crazy to see that, but having one of the firing squad interfere, that causes a DQ. I think by and large, Block A is tough because that's the block that Tama Tonga is. No, that's not the block Tama Tonga is sitting around. Block B is the one that he's going to be centered around there because he's going to be facing Omega soon. I think in about a week. But Block A, I mean, it has Okada there, and it's funny that we haven't even mentioned him yet. But Okada isn't even wrestling the same style, and he's already lost 2 times on the G1. So the big story there is can Okada, because they say like if you lose 3 times, you're pretty much out of the G1. Will he? It adds more suspense to him. I think he's coming up the block. He's going to win. Because I don't think there's anyone else that makes sense coming out of that block winning.
Yeah,
but, like Adam Page, the fuck out of here.
bad luck Fale, bro. He's gonna come and face whoever in the finals.
Fuck that shit. That would be terrible. The big story here is in Block B. Will it be Bushi Omega or Naito that makes it out? I mean, you can already write out Omega. I don't think he's going to be a 2-time G1 winner, but right now it's down to Naito and Ibushi. I think Naito is the shoe-in to win and beat Omega for the title. I will ask for it in the fall so Omega can have Ibushi at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
Which would be kind of disappointing because his reign won't even be that long.
Yeah, it really won't. Well, the reign is already not looking too great. Like, he won the title, and then his only good match was with Naito a couple of days ago. CEO
not even for
didn't
the
look
title.
Too great. Oh yeah,
no.
Not even for the title, but the CEO New Japan show, a lot of controversy around that, and then
the Cody match from last weekend or 2 weeks ago was terrible.
Not great at all.
How do you feel about Jay White right now? How he's positioned? He's beaten in just 7 months. He's beaten Okada, Omega, and Tanahashi clean. How do you feel about the push they've been giving him?
I don't understand. I really don't, because he beats like all these important dudes, but like he loses the title to Juice Robbins. Not saying that Juice Robbins isn't like important, but he's not as high as Kenny or Okada or Tanahashi. And it's just, where do they plan to go with this? Because I don't want to see him in the finals.
I think he's gonna oust Okada. I think it's really gonna come down to that. Of course, it wasn't clean. He beat him with a low blow. But I think this is a larger storyline of the A side is about the destruction of chaos and the reformation of it under Jay White. Because I mean, you even see Yoshihashi and Yano, they're different. Their attitudes are different. While Okada has kind of become more aloof.
Yeah, Yano is very different. His match with Ishii was too great. But hey, man, if this is what chaos is gonna look like under Jay White, then I think Okada should really take a step back. Because he
doesn't need chaos anymore. I don't think he needs chaos.
He doesn't, but this is the first time Yoshihashi ever looked great to me. And if that's because of how Jay White's acting, Okada could go away.
For sure. So yeah, for the first week, and I guess I'll be coming back next week with my picks from that as well. I think we're both in agreement that everyone should check out Zack Sabre Jr. and Ibushi and Omega Naito. And if you have the time, I would check out maybe Adam Page and Elgin was okay to me. And I think that's about it for me for the first week. I wasn't really feeling a lot of it.
Yano Ishii is the match to watch. That's probably
I don't know about that.
Nah, that match was fantastic.
Don't know about that. But Meelz, are you up? Are you still awake? Are you still here? Are you still with us? I'm sorry. New Japan Talk's over.
No, I'm sorry. Listen, the G show is still amazing. Listen, and I feel the G show is still a good one. I feel like that's what we need to call this segment, the G show, because from time to time you go talk about G1, and I'm gonna just be here in the cut, and maybe I'll chime in from time to time if I catch a match or something along those lines. But I'm gonna let the G show rock. I feel like the G show, solid substitute.
Hey, actually, the G show would be dope, Cyrus, if we just sat and talked about the G1 for like 30 minutes every week.
Oh, Jesus. That means I have to stay up and watch the G1.
See?
Oh, never mind. Fuck it. Never mind. That's
East
terrible.
Coast time
terrible.
That's any favors.
That's a you and Chris Mack. Listen.
Yeah.
Chris Mack gonna send me some CMLL links or some shit. He ain't like that.
Oh, the G show.
Watching All Japan.
Listen, if you love the A show, G show coming soon. I'm just to say that.
Jesus.
Let's get into a show that had kind of the lowest lows of the G1 and none of the highs. Extreme Rules. A lot of people are calling this the worst pay-per-view of the year. I don't agree. I think Backlash
don't agree.
But
yeah, I don't. Backlash was terrible.
I watched.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of these pay-per-views. I think Extreme Rules to me was a thumbs in the middle show. It was a very storyline focused show.
Yeah,
it was all about getting storylines over and bringing you to Raw the next night. And all about, I guess, blow-offs there. I think I didn't go higher than 4 on anything, and the only thing I gave 4 was Nakamura Hardy, which I thought was tremendous. It was a tremendous match.
And, that's not a match. AJ you can't Styles, give that a 4. Come on.
I give that 4 stars. It's emotion.
I want to say it lasted less than 3 seconds, which is weird because it's like a 3 count that you have to do.
It was 12 seconds. It was 12 seconds.
No,
it was 12
way.
Seconds.
Fantastic.
It was. I went 4 on that. You know why I went 4 on that? Because it was a perfect encapsulation of what Nakamura needed to be. It rehabbed Nakamura, and it actually made him seem like a threat because he needed to. Because the thing about it is, and this is one thing about WWE, like you end up getting what you want, just not when you want it. Sure. So it's like you always everyone wanted Nakamura to be a killer. He's a killer now. He just killed Jeff Hardy in a couple seconds, and they hate it. But it's like, what? Go ahead.
He was an opportunist. I don't know about killer. It is a very opportunistic way, to take advantage of a situation that possibly no one was, anticipating. Not even Jeff Hardy himself was anticipating this. So I think he's opportunistic. I don't know if he's a killer.
But look at where he is slotted now. He is still in the upper region of the card, facing off against the top, the maybe second or third top babyface on the show. And the thing is, he might not have been AJ, but he still got the second belt. You know, like he's been rehabbed, and I thought that really did wonders for Nakamura, and it did wonders for the storyline with Hardy. Because the thing about it is, you ended up getting the match that they should have had on SmackDown a couple weeks ago. You ended up getting it on SmackDown anyway. So I thought that it was just tremendous in that way, and that's why I went 4 on it. And I went 4 on AJ Styles versus Rusev. I think Rusev showed out.
I think Rusev has always been. I think he's been waiting for this opportunity for a long time, and he really stepped into play and delivered. And it was I talked about last week in our predictions. It would be great if Rusev showed out to the point where, this can become a continued thing, and maybe it's just not like a quick, flirtation with the main event. Maybe he, gets closer to that main event card, and we didn't see him on SmackDown this week, so it's yet to be determined. But he gave a main event performance in this match, and that's all really that, people are really looking forward to from this match. They gave them what they want.
I liked that, but I think as far as everything else, I think the worst match probably of the year and on the show was Carmella and Asuka. I despise that match. I think it was absolutely terrible. I get where they were going with it, but I don't think Carmella's the one to do that with. I get trying to give Asuka her heat back, but I don't think this is the right angle to do it.
Some would argue it's probably the perfect way to use Carmella because, for instance, you're not going to get like a 3 to 4 star match out of a Carmella. No offense to Carmella, but you're not going to get that. So I think, and we talked about this as well, in the first year of her career when she was a heel, it was pin drops. You really couldn't hear anything when she was coming out. So now she's sort of garnering their reactions. And I sort of equate it to something like, JBL's run in 2004, where no one believed he should be champion. No one thought he deserved to be champion when you had guys like, Eddie Guerrero, Booker T, Rob Van Dam, The Undertaker, all floating on the roster, people who were obviously better than her. And it's a similar situation Carmella's in, where there are people leagues better than her in the ring and maybe even on the mic and stuff like that. But they're using this as an opportunity to get over Carmella. And while I cringe because it's at the expense of Asuka, and it's not only at the expense of making Asuka look stupid once, but it's to the expense of making Asuka look stupid at least twice.
3 times.
Well, they made Charlotte look stupid twice too. Let's just be clear.
Charlotte,
multiple times.
It would. One was a Money in the Bank cash in. I forgot what happened on the rematch. It was on that terrible backlash.
She got hit on the turnbuckle and got hit with some stupid move that there's no way she in a match after Asuka. There's no way Charlotte should have lost to the shit that she lost to. At backlash. But I think that again it is. I know people hate this, but it's like it's the way that they build heels.
Yeah,
I know it, but the thing is, look at how they did it with Jinder Mahal. They had Jinder beat Nakamura twice. They had Jinder beat Randy Orton 3 times, and they beat big time guys, and that's what they hoped that would get them over. And the thing is, it won't work. Yeah, we know it's not working. We know it's not going to work.
I think it's just because it happens so often. Try it. It happens so often as well because you look on Raw and what happens with the Alexa Bliss thing. It's a similar situation to Alexa Bliss, I don't think they're even there to do what they do with Asuka with, Ronda Rousey. I don't even think that's going to happen. But it could, who knows?
Oh God, no.
But it's a similar situation and it's sort of the way they build these heels, but it's kind of like this. I just wish it wasn't so common. And first of all, what did you think about the Extreme Rules match between Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax? It was kind of really an afterthought to the entire Ronda Rousey thing, in my opinion.
I didn't like it. I went 2 stars on it. Yeah, I went 2 stars on it. But they kept it short, and I appreciated that.
Yeah, more that match had a whole bunch of stuff happening, and then I eventually just tuned out, and then Alexa Bliss retained, and I was just like, oh, okay, that happened.
Yeah, it wasn't anything to sort of ride home about. Especially, I thought it could have, closed the card, and we had an entire situation online about what was going to close the card and what ended up closing the card. But
that match wasn't strong enough, and I don't think the angle was strong enough. I think had Ronda been on TV for those, these past 3 weeks, then you could have had that close show and had it be completely chaotic. But this is a show that already had hella overbooking, and I don't think it would have paid off correctly. I'm just glad they didn't do the expected with Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley closing. And I think that they did that because they knew that we were about to get the fucking match again anyway. Right. But, how did you guys feel about the main event? And I think a lot of people that are kind of looking at Seth Rollins sideways with how the crowd hijacked his main event.
Well, to me, just in general, in terms of the main event, I thought their Raw match was better for them than the actual Iron Man match. I thought the Iron Man match, just the logistics of how they decided to book this match, and it kind of overcomplicated a somewhat simple concept for a match. And it kind of threw logic out of the window with Drew McIntyre coming in, putting in the DQ, and then sort of Dolph going up 3 falls right after that. Like that to me made no sense. It made sense in a sense, but then it also made no sense.
A wild blowout.
Yeah, it was. I think they wanted to have the, Rollins was up 3-0 and then still lost the match, but I don't think they capitalized that at all on Raw, because that's a definite narrative. But I think they just didn't want to make Seth Rollins look weak. But to me, just the match, it was everything that I predicted exactly how it went down, and I don't think it should have closed the show with the finish kind of like that. I would have been.
It was boring. It was boring at times. I don't think it picked up to the last 10 minutes. I was bored, honestly, and I don't think the crowd made it any better. I think even if you watch it on mute, there is just middling parts of that match. Then it went fall for fall for like the first 10 minutes, and then it just didn't click for me.
Well, you gotta ask yourself. Sorry. Go ahead.
I get where they were going with it, but I think my point of divergence is like we've gotten this match twice already. There was another time they went 30 minutes already, and they didn't even do one pinfall. And then like the first 5 minutes, you had like 6, and it was like I was like, there was just a weird way they structured this match, and I just feel like I would have rather they had a straight up match instead of an Iron Man match. I think Iron Man matches as blow-offs I hate Iron Man matches as blow-offs. I just don't like them. They don't always work.
I feel like in a sense you got to ask yourself, is maybe 5 hours too long for a wrestling show for a live crowd to just be sitting in their seats, and then you close it off with a guaranteed 30-minute match and kind of expect them to behave, because they were kind of fine the rest of the show. I thought, for besides probably Roman versus Bobby, which I don't even think they were completely wild or out of pocket for anything that they've done, because it's kind of expected. I mean,
there were Rusev Day chance. There were Rusev Day chance on that. There were Rusev Day chance.
Right.
Wrestling.
Well, they hadn't seen Rusev yet. I'm sure they anticipated Rusev in this on the card already. But yeah, I think maybe you got to reanalyze because I know by like when I went to SummerSlam last year, so it's like it's a 7-hour card in a sense. Between the 2-hour pre-show and the actual 5-hour show. By that Fatal 4-Way match, everyone was like stupid. Everyone was just cheering for any random shit that we could do. There was a beach ball. I think the beach ball put life into people because they were like, oh, it's the beach ball. I think that's why that happens, because it gets so monotonous and boring when you're sitting there for 5 hours and you're seeing all these 7-minute matches and matches that aren't, the card didn't deliver to people to actually feel some sort of satisfaction from it. That's why I think they kind of maybe reacted the way they did, because nothing was even remotely satisfying on the card. But yeah, Extreme Rules is
not a great show.
Not a great show, but solid show. Solid show. I mean, solid is even a bad choice of words in my opinion. Passable show.
Oh, we didn't talk about Kevin Owens or the Finn Balor match.
Oh boy. Kevin Owens, most improved 2018. That motherfucker, he just don't care. And the match ended the way I thought it did. The match ended the way I thought it would have mattered. They have to, like I said, they have to find some very interesting and cool ways to make Braun Strowman lose, because like
there was nowhere to go
of Kevin Owens' life.
Yes. There was nowhere to go but that, to be honest. After everything they've done, after all the tools, there's really nowhere else to go. And it was a great visual. I think I'm interested in what happens from here on out. Braun wasn't on the show Monday. Kevin wasn't on the show on Monday. We haven't really, seen what's going to go on there.
Braun was there. Braun did have an interview segment, but backstage segment. But like they only asked him, well, how come you're not putting your hat in the ring for the title match? And he was like, oh, because I have the briefcase. And I was like, okay.
And then nothing else happened.
But that is,
I'm glad that they practiced some self-control and did not have Kevin Owens show up on Raw. I'm glad they did.
I agree.
Apparently he's really hurt from that fall he took with bruised ribs and a whole bunch of other stuff.
I mean, I saw the airbags, but I don't think the airbags gonna stop us. You know, a 240+ pound man smacking the shit against that table as hard as he did from that height. Like, I don't think it's going to hurt. Like, it's going to hurt
for sure. I went thumbs in rules. I'm sure SummerSlam will be longer and it might be better. Who knows? Just strap in because you're gonna be there for a fucking while. We got 5 weeks away. We're 5 weeks away from it. Let's get into our Glow season 2 discussion here. It's been a long time coming. We've given you guys a very long time to watch this show. I saw the homie Ampavelli. I saw the homie Ampavelli was binging it yesterday. Overall, like, I think Glow season 2 was a very marked improvement over the first season in a lot of ways, and not just production value, just acting and really just even the wrestling. Like, everything to me was just taken up a step tenfold in this season.
I think they made a concerted effort to just, I think they saw what happened with the first season and they were getting a little bit of traction, and they made it a concerted effort to improve on it in sort of all aspects. I mean, even in the introduction of another character, Yolanda, who is like, Latina and also, gay and all these other things, including that with the wrestling thing, open a wider scope of people. I mean, the action is a lot more, there's a lot more action than there is in the first. This isn't so much like we're teaching you guys about wrestling now. It's now assuming that you guys know from season 1. So in season 2, we're showing out. And that's what I appreciated the most about this show.
And they showed out, did a lot of new moves that looked very interesting in the way that they filmed the show.
And a lot of
they did all their own stunts.
Oh, they did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow!
Yeah, they did their own stunts. All of they insisted that they do all of their own stunts.
I love it.
I was listening to Melrose, her character, and how they record when they take bumps. They don't actually like take the bump because they just take the camera away. So they do a lot of their own stunts, and they don't even have to really take the full back bump. So they're more open to it.
I mean, I think
that back bump. I heard there's people who take back bumps and they quit the first day.
I think, just the entire show. I felt the storylines were incredible. I thought the storylines with the most prominently episode 4 with Kia Stevens, aka Amazing Kong, aka Awesome Kong, aka Karma, if you know her, if you're nasty. I thought that just amazing show of just like her, having that performance, having to deal with her son, who's also a black man, and especially the times they were in at that time. And, living up to a stereotype and having to sort of deal with, the optics and just the narrative of maybe, what you see on television and all this other stuff, playing a sort of caricature of what, and nothing moving forward with sort of being a black woman in America at that time. I thought that episode was incredible. I thought the interactions between Betty Gilpin and Allison Brie, I thought those interactions, especially in the hospital, especially when she broke her ankle in that match.
Yeah, I
thought
that was a crazy.
Off the white, bruh.
Yeah, just the weight off that white. Big facts. I completely forgot about that. She was on cocaine wrestling.
The 80s,
when she hit the coke, dog. When she hit the coke, she was like, "Yo, let go." I was like, "Nah, this ain't gonna end well," because that's the first thing they tell you when you learn about wrestling is not to be inebriated before you go in that ring
and take care of the person you're with. And I like the shame that she sort of got from the other people, and I like the sisterhood of it all, how they all went to the hospital and they all shared but they also they frowned upon Debbie in that moment and just saying like, yo, she didn't take care of her, or you let something else get in the way of taking care of what you were supposed to do in the ring. And I thought that was incredible. I thought just the interaction between the both of them, and when they were alone screaming at each other in that hospital scene, I thought that was very intense. It was very real. It felt it all. And just being like, it's real stuff that happens. And I thought just the realisticness of it all just could have made the show. And it was just incredible. It was just, to me, incredible. There's nothing more I can say. It was an incredible season.
Yeah.
More than anything, I think that even just they kind of intertwined all the storylines this year, even with the how all of the women kind of came together, and it was just like, okay, this is way more serious than it was first season, because you will get fired, and they fired off one of the girls in the first fucking episode. Like it's like chick. Yeah, like it was like yo, there's actually stakes here, and it's like they're actually trying to do things, and I love the interplay and the politics between them and the TV station, because that was a big issue. That was a big point of contention with the original Glow series, where before they moved to Vegas, they were fighting for TV time on public access.
And then they got prime time, and then they got knocked off prime time, and then they had one of the best shows they ever had, and now they're in Vegas. I mean, now they're moving to Vegas. So, I love the themes of that. I love the themes of all of them sort of trying to mix their regular lives in with the, their Glow lives, and essentially like their 12 weeks they're taken out of society in a sense, and having to sort of, even in a sense with, except Debbie sort of still having to go back to her own life, but her own life wasn't as glamorous as things that made it seem, which to me was a contrast with the other girls who wanted to go back in their real lives but just couldn't. I thought those sort of interactions, I mean, I think, to me, Alison Brie did an amazing job. Betty Gilpin did an amazing job, and she's nominated for an Emmy off of it. And I think it's deserved. I think just the wide range of characters and all this other stuff, I thought. And then also, like, how many times have you in the past have you looked at all these Monday Night Wars things with like Hogan having these creative controls, and now we see Liberty Bell kind of have creative control over a character and kind of what it does. There's real parallels between the actual wrestling business and the show that makes it incredible.
She's Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
As a wrestling fan to watch, so you get something as a wrestling fan, and you also get the real life stuff that just as a general watcher of shows, like you don't even need to know about wrestling. So you get kind of like fan service from both sides in a sense.
I think more than anything, I really enjoyed. Again, I did enjoy Betty Gilpin, and I think that Alison Brie's Ruth character, to me, she was annoying as shit the first season to me. She was like my least favorite character.
Really?
I think that I actually sympathize with Debbie a lot more the first season, because it was still fresh for her. She was in a fucked up situation, and Ruth was absolutely wrong in the first season, and she was acting like she wasn't. I think she came into her own, and she finally realized that this was something in this season that she was good at and that she wanted to do more than anything. And I think the biggest theme is that like there are certain things that you're born to do that you kind of go full steam ahead on. And I think she was faced with that her own mortality there when she got her ankle broken, and there was really nowhere else for her to go. Like, she was punished for like the first 4 or 5 episodes of this season, dude. And I think that her growth from that really strengthened her on the last half of the season, and I really enjoyed that.
Right.
I do have to bring one thing. There's a scene where there is
not stop talking about.
Well, I didn't even finish. I didn't finish.
Oh, okay.
There's a scene where Sebastian Bash goes in to clean up the studio where they record the show, and Liberty Bell is in there. And let me tell you,
still off that white. Still off that white.
Still off the white.
I was not prepared.
I was not prepared.
I was not. I'll just say that.
Are we gonna say what it was?
The wagon, bro. The wagon.
Looking healthy. Off the white.
The dump truck, if you will.
Oh my god.
Ass was sitting, bro.
Listen, I don't know if they did anything. She worked out for the show. Obviously, she killed it. Whatever she did, I don't know what role she was in prior, but she could not have. Wow, she's 31. Wow, I thought she was older. Age. I thought she was older. I literally thought she was older.
That's all you, bro.
That is.
Hey,
to quote the great J5, he said, "Could put a glass on it."
I don't know what she was in before, but it was, I don't think she's looked as good as she did right now. Shout out to Liberty Bell. Yeah. As Big Dave would say, as Big Dave Batista would say, she has that fadunka-dunk.
Another thing I did want to talk about. Another storyline in the show this season was Sebastian and his butler. Did you guys catch the kind of the underlying thing going on with him and his butler?
No, please do tell.
And this has been going around, and on my rewatch of the show, I kind of get it more. I think that his butler died of AIDS.
Huh.
They said it was like some type of Go ahead.
Okay, so I asked, why'd you come to that conclusion? And you told me, I've watched a lot of documentaries about AIDS.
Yeah,
so
I have.
I trust your thoughts on this.
They said it when he gets the call on the last episode. They said that it was kind of like a pneumonia, like symptoms, and he just died. And if you notice, when he passed away, Sebastian was cleaning his room. Like, he had people deep cleaning the room. And this is the 80s, and no one really knew anything about AIDS at that point, and how it got contracted. But I think even an even deeper thing there is that I feel as though Sebastian is also homosexual. Remember when he went to the gay club, and he was very weird. He was very weird around all the people in the gay club, and he wanted to leave really quickly. That was like a super uncomfortable thing for him. But Machu Picchu, she wanted to stay.
Yeah. That is interesting.
I think that he and his butler had a homosexual relationship. But here's the thing. I think it also is going to intersect with Britannica, because he made that rash decision to marry her in the final moments of the finale. He hadn't made a rash decision. He was like, it's okay, we can love each other second. And it was like he was trying to prove to himself and get over his feelings for his butler by marrying this beautiful girl and hiding it, basically being a beard for her.
Oh my God, I didn't even look into that.
Was giving him that look when he said, I will marry her instead. Yeah. Like, she knew what was up.
I thought she just was in love with Bash.
Yeah, Machu Picchu, she knows. She absolutely knows. And I think that's going to be a storyline to watch out for next season. I don't think that he has it. But I think that he knows what was going on. He knows more than what he's putting on. And I think that's going to be a really cool storyline for Bash next season, because there's very not much for him to do when they get to Vegas. I remember if you watch the documentary, when they get to Vegas, that's when Glow really picks up and it takes off. So I think in season 3, I would expect there to be a lot more women added, a lot more characters added, because there's going to be a lot more budget there. But I also feel as though that's where it's going to kind of hit its stride. Like, season 3 to me, it has the potential to be like the best season.
I haven't watched the documentary.
It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix. It's really good. Good.
All right, so I'm gonna watch it. Definitely.
It's the documentary that inspired the people who created the show to make this show.
Oh, okay. I'm definitely gonna watch it. Season 3 sounds good. After that Vegas thing, I watched it all in pretty much one night. I was hooked. I knew I was gonna be hooked the second I watched it, and I'm just like invested in all these characters. I'm like, damn, everyone's amazing. Like, this is incredible. I love shit. I don't know. Were you turned off by that weird porn stash guy? Like I was. I was just like, what is she doing with this guy?
No,
I wasn't.
Yeah, I was just like, yo, the camera guy. I was like, yo,
yeah, Russell.
I mean, he seemed like
he looked shady at first.
He looked shady. He looked like, I mean, he looks like, I think he did say he recorded porn before.
He did. Yes. He used to work in porn. Yeah.
And I'm just like, yo, get rid of the porn stash. But then it became this entire situation and sort of rebound. I thought they had the creepy moment between Mark Maron and between Ruth and Sam, where Sam maybe stepped a little bit too far, especially after the entire, other situation where the head of the network tried to, sexually harass Ruth. So it's kind of like, to me, I thought that part was kind of, I felt like it was a part that people thought maybe was coming, but I didn't know that they should actually have acted on it. because it just seemed...
it was a subversion. It was a subversion of they're kind of like father-daughter, and it was that moment of weakness that they finally had to define that relationship, because in the beginning I also felt like, oh, they're gonna fuck this season because he's too like mad at her for just this one little slight, or what a perceived slight. And I love the subversion of the the father-daughter situation, because he, of course, also has a 16-year-old daughter, and he also tried to have sex with her. So it's like he's trying to learn how to be a father and not a sleazeball. And I think that was a good arc for his character. I think Mark Maron is, to me, I never expected a turn of this from him. Like, I think he's amazing in this show.
Hopefully he learns his lesson in season 3. To just stop leaning forward on women. It always turns out bad.
I mean, it worked out
always, every single time.
Shout out to
I loved it.
What's her name? Gosh, who was in the action movie, and then but was actually terrible? Cherry.
Junk Chain or Black Magic. I loved her turn. I loved her turn as Black Magic.
She said, "Fuck this gimmick, let me lose."
I love that. I love the relationship between her and her husband. I love like all these other, like she was also. I love just the little side story of just like, yo, they made me fucking perm my hair, and it's man. I don't even look. I felt like heartbroken for her. I was like, damn, that is rough. Like they're making her do all this stuff, but you know, she found out like what was probably the best for her in this situation. And I think, you know, these are real life things that happen, and it just sort of shows the industry, and it shows a lot of different things. That's what I think. I thought it was an amazing, you know, venture off.
Yeah, I do. I really like that Black Magic. Again, you got to watch the documentary. She is a play on one of the characters from the documentary, and I thought that they did that really well. Like that twist. But one more thing before we get off of Glow. How do you guys feel about the actual Glow episode that they made mid-season to kind of break up the last half and the beginning half?
I thought it was fun.
Loved it.
I thought it was fun. I thought all the storylines, I thought everyone got creative. I thought you became more invested in their, like, you know, separate characters after the, and then you kind of became... It sort of rehabbed Betty in a sense, and it rehabbed, you know, sorry, not Betty, Debbie, sorry.
I was about to say, who's Betty?
it rehabbed...
Same girl, same chick.
Yeah, it rehabbed the relationship between Ruth and Debbie, and it sort of, you know, rehabbed the entire series and showed them sort of moving forward. That I loved it.
I really like that. The first season was all about putting the show together, and then you actually get to see the product a lot, not just once, that one episode. They do it like 3 times, and then it became a fun clip show as well, which I really enjoy.
I really like the just showing Zoya Ruth as Zoya and her sister. I mean, you can't find better writing than that. It's like, it's really in the way that they did that. Like, I was watching it with my girlfriend. She was just like, well, what are they doing that for? And I was like, they're doing, and it was like wrestling logic. I was like, they're doing this so that they can write off the storyline without actually having to put Zoya in the ring. And I was like, this is what they would do on the actual wrestling program.
And then they put her in the ring anyway.
I mean, for that one moment. It was a Kane moment. You know what I'm saying? It was a Kane moment.
It did happen.
Oh my god, I love it.
I think to be honest, like, Glow is a love letter to pro wrestling, and it's a love letter to women's pro wrestling. And I think there's no better time for this show to exist than now. It just means a lot to not only wrestling fans, but women that love wrestling and women that aren't sure about it and might want to get into it. I think this is the best show to watch for, even if you're not particularly interested. I really think that they've got something going here, and season 3 might be, to me, like the best one yet, if they're going to go with what I think they're going to do.
And to me, I think, you know, there's rumors of an all women's show later this fall. To me, it shows like these. I mean, I'm talking about all women show in the WWE this fall. To me, it's women's, like, it shows like these that shows you can have an entire roster of women, different personalities with different motivations, and still manage to make, you know, the show make sense and make the show enticing and be able to watch, and that there is some sort of, you know, audience for it. Like, the Glow is really helping with sort of, you know, while it's not helping directly, and while WWE seems to have no, you know, has no stakes in it or has no involvement in it. It's really helping sort of pushing forward women's wrestling, and I really, really like that.
Yes, sir.
I can't wait for season 3.
I think that we need to see more. We need to see more Liberty Bell. Just Anyway, let's run through Raw and SmackDown really quick. These things did happen this week. We have I think Raw this week was way better than the past few weeks. I actually was able to get through it this week.
It was way better.
I think that 3-way between Roman, Finn, and Drew McIntyre, I think it might be one of my favorite TV matches of the year, and one of my favorite Roman matches of the year in a year where he has so few of them. But what do you guys feel about the state of the Universal title? I'll just start with Cyrus here. What do you think about how they're doing it right now?
I'm glad they're finally taking action and trying to move forward with that title and try to make it seem there, because the Universal title hasn't been talked about in the past 3 weeks. Brock Lesnar was mentioned, but nothing really. It was just Roman and Bobby were just talking back and forth about wanting to face Brock.
And I think more than anything, with the title, with it being back, the stakes are there again.
Yeah.
There's more stakes again, and even if the outcome of 3-ways are literally just what we thought they would be, at least we might get a champion that's going to be on TV every week in 4 weeks.
It's literally what I thought it was going to be. I feel it felt good. You had these 6 superstars in the ring with a type of direction, and the direction was forward instead of not sort of this linear that's kind of going across. And it's they're beating each other, but there's really no stakes to it, even though they're trying to make some sort of stakes to it. I really sort of like that. Just the introduction of the Universal Champion, Paul Heyman being on the show in his moments, trying to scum his way out of a Universal title shot at SummerSlam, but it's going to happen. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing. Do you think we'll see Brock Lesnar before SummerSlam?
Yeah,
I think he's gonna be.
Face-off.
Isn't he gonna? Yeah, I think it's gonna be a face-off. I think they have him for the Raw after. I think on the 20th.
Yeah, they have him. Yeah, they have him for the Raw after in Brooklyn, but I don't know if they have him booked before then.
They're gonna have to.
They'll do a face-off.
They're putting him for bread. They have to pay him for that then. Every day. Yeah, remember he's out of dates. He has no more dates.
Yeah,
he's literally out of dates. So I don't know. Another thing that happened on Raw, Sasha and Bayley is interesting again. It took a turn this week.
Odd.
A lot of people are thinking that this is going to be a the big setup here was that they had to work together, and Kurt Angle said if they didn't work together on Raw, they had one of them was going to get moved to SmackDown, which I think is still going to happen. But I think that I
don't think it's
a lot of people are thinking that. I think it'll happen because I don't think that this is a lesbian angle, and I think people are jumping to conclusions because they have never had good friends before, and they don't tell their friends that they love them. And think, go ahead.
Well, not on WWE television at least, and especially not 2 women on WWE television. So it's kind of it's a different sort of stake. I think we've had that with men before. And we've had that sort of interaction in that relationship where they have men who are just best friends. But with women on WWE television, they're usually catty and they usually secretly hate each other and all these other weird connotations that they have that they sell through announcing and all this other stuff. But I think just a genuine, real. It'll be interesting if they book this as this is really just a friendship. And these are the things that happen while you're friendship, and maybe it culminates to a match where they respect one another a lot more after putting their bodies on the line again. But it's usually in sort of professional wrestling, you don't really see this sort of thing, especially 2 women saying that they genuinely, one woman at least telling that I love you, I love you. Is that what you want me to say? I love you. I thought, right. I thought, I was whoa, okay, wait a minute.
Sasha was tremendous there. Sasha was tremendous there.
Good acting.
I thought by nature of them never doing this before, and I'm wondering, what sort of caused this, but it's I don't know how many times they've actually used the L word in wrestling, the love word. Has anyone used it?
Shawn Michaels to Ric Flair, I'm sorry, I love you.
Very rarely. So you can see this sort of what it sort of takes to get here at this point in the storyline in terms of them using the word love and love so intensely and just I love you. Do you understand that? You fine? Is that what you wanted me to say? Like I love you. Like you just don't get it. And then Bayley kind of having to figure herself out all after the fact. This could end up as a really silly thing where they just seem like they're riding it on the fly, or this could really be end up just like this like layered storyline when we were all talking about in 2019 of just like, wow, remember when they went that deep with Bayley and Sasha and all this other stuff? Like crazy.
They said the L word. I'm looking forward for whatever's happening, even if they are just writing it like on the fly.
I don't think it's on the fly. I say it's leading to a turn. It's going to lead to a turn on somebody's end. But I think the way that they're doing it is I mean, they got to end it sometime. And I think a move is great. You got to move these women away from each other. You know?
I think it's progressive if they don't turn. I think if one of them doesn't turn, and it's just like, this is just how friendships work. And it's a different way to break up a friendship. As opposed to one is secretly jealous of the other, and now I'm hitting you with a chair. Like I think it'll be really progressive. I think, quite honestly, they should have a blow off at SummerSlam, and then Kurt decides to move one of them to SmackDown. And the
loser leaves Raw match.
Yeah.
Who do you want to go to SmackDown?
Sasha.
Okay.
Becky's already on. Becky's on SmackDown. Becky's on SmackDown already.
Who would I want to come to Raw?
They don't need another Bayley.
But who would you want to come to Raw? It's a trade.
Nah, it wouldn't be Carmella. She's gonna have a match.
Take Carmella.
I would probably choose. I might choose
Naomi.
Ooh.
I would choose Naomi, but no.
Actually, no. They're not gonna break up. They're not gonna break up couples. They're not gonna break up couples.
They're not gonna break up couples. I'm thinking Charlotte. But then it's like it's too obvious the Ronda thing, you know. But they have to get to there eventually.
Yeah, and it's not to me. It's not going to be an interpromotional match.
Yeah.
Oh, that's for Survivor Series, baby. Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Gosh.
That actually, Meelz, you might be onto something with the Charlotte thing. I will say you might be onto something because you got to keep Sasha and Charlotte away from each other too.
Yeah,
because they've already done this like a million times.
A fucking million times, bro. Like, so maybe.
It's interesting. It's going to be interesting. And speaking of the women, speaking of Ronda Rousey, what the fuck was up with her braids this week?
I don't know what type of shit she was trying. Or she was just like, give me that sinusoidal weight on my forehead. Like, it was just, It was just, it looks, but you know what? I didn't notice it on Raw until everyone started posting pictures of it, and I was just like, that looks fucking weird." Actually,
it didn't look bad in motion when she was running.
It was like, "Oh, she's a badass." Of course, she's got her hair braided, and then it's kind of like, she kind of looks like an idiot. Yeah,
and then her eyebrows.
Oh yeah,
dog. She looked Asian.
Eyebrows?
She looked Asian, bro. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Oh Lord, she looked ridiculous, but.
I think she great heel. I think she's a great heel. I think for her, having her be transitional here is a great role for her. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious what's going to happen in SummerSlam, but I think the match should be amazing. I think it's going to be a really good match. Again, on Raw, very women heavy show this week. Also, Ember Moon takes her first L to Sarah Logan. How'd you guys feel about that? I don't think I wouldn't have done it on TV, but I don't mind it happening because Ember needs a program until she's ready to move on to I'm assuming will be Alexa next. And I think that Riot Squad needs something to do, and I'm not too mad about it. I'm like, again, they need to wipe out all these undefeated streaks. Undefeated streaks are not. I'm tired of them. Stop.
I think so too, streaks. And I think you know what? It makes Sarah Logan look good. It makes her look as strong as she probably could. I don't think you could have a back and forth Riot Squad feud with Ember Moon just handily beating both and expecting this feud to continue for the next couple of weeks. Like I thought it was good. I thought it was fair. You know, it's fair. We know Ember Moon is a competitor. You know how she brings it in the ring. I think it's a fair L. And I think, you know what? We don't need these undefeated streaks sort of making these characters a little bit more one-dimensional than they probably should be.
And Sarah Logan looked really good in that match. That was the first match I ever seen from Sarah Logan that I was really impressed by. And it kind of shows that they can stand on their own twos while Ruby Riott is out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we haven't got an update on her yet. I think we're going to get one at the end of the month or so.
I think she should be back by SummerSlam. I think it'd be cool to have her back. It was less serious than originally predicted, so hopefully she's back before September at least. What do you guys think about the Raw side of SummerSlam so far? I know Extreme Rules, the Raw side was kind of weak, but the Raw side of SummerSlam, we're actually going to get a title match. We don't have a real direction for IC title yet, but we should, or the tag titles. But I think as far as the women go, they're going to have a pretty stacked women's side of that show.
We got Alexa Bliss versus Ronda Rousey at this point, or at least hopefully. So I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at it. You know, Ronda Rousey's a competitor.
Sasha Bailey, for sure, that's going to happen.
Sasha Bailey. We've got, you know, potentially Roman or Bobby, or maybe Roman and Bobby versus Brock Lesnar.
It's going to be Roman. It's going to be Roman.
It's 100% going to be Roman. I'm saying that for the virtue conversation. I know it's going to be Roman, but
I don't need it.
50-50 booking, my friend. I love it.
Don't you love it?
Yes.
It's like, oh man, you beat me when there was no stakes involved, but now I'm going to beat you when it matters. So it's kind of so it's like no one's going to remember that Extreme Rules match. Everyone's going to remember why he was the number one contender at SummerSlam. And then, you know, I think, does anything else need to happen that's urgent on Raw? I mean, we need a Seth Rollins program. We need a IC title program.
Finn needs a program.
They're gonna throw him in a multi-man match. They're gonna throw all of them into a multi-man match.
A 6-man tag or something.
We didn't. I
think it might be Baron and Finn again. Finn winning against Baron in Extreme Rules.
Yeah,
I mean, no, because he lost a three-way. He lost a three-way. He's a nobody, right? He's a nobody, right?
He's not a nobody. Relax.
He loses when it counts, bro.
He just loses when it counts, man. You know?
Whatever, man.
Ever since that one time he won when it mattered, he lost when it counts.
No, he won when it mattered against Bray Wyatt and AJ Styles.
I mean, that AJ Styles match didn't matter because it wasn't the actual match it was supposed to happen.
Was that for the championship or an opportunity?
Oh, here we go. All right.
Hey, man.
And he had the paint. Guys. He had the paint on.
Oh yeah, he did. He had the paint.
The paint.
That's that. The paint. The paint is for sure not coming back in Brooklyn. So I just need people.
Oh my god! You know what? Let's run to SmackDown. We got it because I gotta get out of here.
Let's run through SmackDown. I know Meelz has things he's got to do. I'm pretty sure Cyrus does too. SmackDown, excellent show. I think it's pretty clear to me that SmackDown is like winning the war this year. At least Nakamura, to me, most improved of this year. I think he's phenomenal in almost everything that he does in ring and out of the ring right now. He's a strong promo guy that I didn't even think was possible because I think he just never did really good promos in NXT. Here, his God Bless America taunt is fucking incredible to me.
Fire.
It's it's really good. Nakamura, the champion. I'm behind it.
I really love. I think that him, Jeff, and Randy. I think we'll have a barn burner of a fucking match at SummerSlam if that's the direction that they're going, and I think that it will be. I love Psycho Randy Orton. Psycho Randy Orton is my man right now.
Spooky. Just him pulling on the
the gauge, just the ear, that's the earlobe, and it's just like there's a hole in it, and he looked like he was trying to rip it, but it's wrestling, you can't really rip it. But if he ripped it, it would have been incredible, and it also would not have been PG as WWE is. But it was such a visual, and it's so different, and to me, it's so vicious, and I'm just like, I love it. Make him the insane maniac that he is. I thought he was still the xenophobic maniac, but he's maybe.
But you see him leaving Nakamura alone. So maybe
maybe it's because Jeff Hardy has that paint on his face. He's like, this is man of another world.
Oh no!
I need his skin color a little bit different. No, I'm kidding. Let me not do that to Randy Orton. Let me not do that.
Black and white paint.
Let me not do this to Randy Orton. but because I actually don't think Randy Orton's a racist, but
but he retweeted. Somebody said he retweeted Breitbart or some shit, and I was like, all right,
we'll see what happens.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true.
I thought it was a great reintroduction back. I still don't like Randy Orton on a consistent basis on the show, just because I feel like he takes up a role that I don't feel like he's necessary in anymore. It's kind of like John Cena, where John Cena kind of floats in every couple of months or so. Mm-hmm. So he's not as necessary, and it feels kind of fresh. I don't think Randy Orton needs to be on the show, but every week. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But he did take a break for a while. He hasn't been seen on TV since I think Shelton Benjamin came.
Yeah, I mean, he takes a break every once in a while because he gets injured or something like that. But I just feel like in general, like his schedule needs to be lighter. Like he doesn't need to be in a program, to me, like heading for a major championship or anything. Like he just needs to be there, show up, and sort of deliver as a sort of an attraction. If that's possible.
And leave.
Yeah, I think this program will be fun. You know what? I think it is a special program considering it's with Jeff Hardy, who is a major face in this, in the WWE, has the unwavering support of a lot of people, and having Randy Orton, who's a despicable heel, get at him. I think it's interesting.
I mean, I know you're happy about this as well. The Miz went fucking ape shit.
Woo!
On Daniel Bryan. He had bars. Big bars.
Listen, it's natural. What else did we think was gonna happen? It's natural. Did I expect anything else? No, I expect these bars to come, and that this Miz and Daniel Bryan thing literally might be the only reason why I would pay for a SummerSlam ticket. As high priced as it is, I feel like I need to be there in that moment to see two of my favorite wrestlers. One of my favorite wrestlers in Daniel Bryan, one of my favorite wrestlers in The Miz, favorite wrestler of all time, The Miz. Go at it.
Okay.
It was really good.
I am going to hate you for the next 5 weeks. I know.
Man.
I'm going to hate you.
Lord.
This is the program. I hope it leads into Hell in a Cell and we get that Hell in a Cell match, even though it's like dangerous for Daniel Bryan to be in that match.
Hey, no, he's cleared.
No, it's not.
He's cleared, man.
He's cleared.
All right,
it's not unsanctioned, man. He's cleared.
I mean, it's just you never know. You know what I'm saying? You never know in these type of situations. I thought you thought it would be cool if Tim White was in Hell in a Cell, and then boom, his career was over.
Oh, Jesus.
The Hell in a Cell is unforgiving metal structure, Satan's playground, all this other stuff that JR says.
I did enjoy that. I do enjoy how this program's starting. I did enjoy that Team Hell No was the impetus of it happening. And I did, as much as people hated it, we knew that this was coming. And I did like the way they kind of weaved in and out of different storylines to make this happen. I think, again, you guys are getting your wish. Like I said, it doesn't happen when you want it to, but it always happens in time. And I think Daniel Bryan and The Miz is going to be a tremendous program for both guys. And I never would have thought The Miz would heat up Daniel Bryan like he did, but he fucking did it. Once again, he surprised me.
Yeah.
AJ Styles and Andrade Cien Almas. Boy, oh boy.
What a match.
Did I love this match? I love this match.
It was a sample. It was a nice sample because both of them could go completely bananas, ape shit, off the wall if they wanted to. And people are complaining like, oh, why is he losing? Listen, it's fine. It's fine. This is not only does it set up as a contender, it sets up as someone who could hang with AJ Styles. It sets him up as something. They gave a little taste of what they can do. They can, do a lot more, obviously. It's fine. It's literally fine.
It was a good match. I just don't understand why everybody's so upset. Like,
that he lost?
Really good. Like,
there's no shame in losing to the fucking champion of the world, and I think people need to keep again. Andrade doesn't need to be undefeated.
No,
stop with the undefeated streaks. Stop the undefeated streaks. He has to lose. What better way to lose than to the actual champion? He didn't lose to Sin Cara. He ended up beating Sin Cara a lot. I do have a question though. There was a look that almost threw at AJ. There was the respect look, and they don't do these things on accident. I have a small question or a thing to put in people's heads. What if they flipped Andrade to a babyface?
Nah. Nah.
Why not? Why not?
And it's not that, oh my God, he works so much better as a heel. I just think that just everything with his character and everything that he sort of is and what he sort of represents, and just the way WWE does faces that are international and just kind of like hype up. I don't know. To me, it just doesn't feel right. It wouldn't feel right to me. It just wouldn't feel right currently. I think we build, good stock and good value as a heel, and then we turn him face like somewhere further down the line. But as of right now, nah.
I'll say, can Selena do a face promo and not be mean as she usually is?
I would assume they would dead her if he turned face.
No, they're not deading her. They're not deading her. They're not gonna dead her. Here's my thing.
They need her.
Zelina is his heater.
Yeah.
She can be anything. Like Paul, remember when Brock was a face for that second against the Wyatts? Paul was his heater, and he was the guy that was in danger. Or against Samoa Joe, he was in danger against Samoa Joe and stuff like that. Like Zelina will always be his heater. She will always be the one that can turn him face or heel depending on what it is. Like if someone starts fucking with Zelina, boom, face turn right there.
Right.
Because he's gonna protect her.
Right.
And that's why it would work. That's why it will work. He doesn't need to say, I'm a good guy, I'm with all the good guys now. My thing is this: SmackDown is a heel show now that Randy Orton's a heel again.
Right.
I think that someone's gonna have to flip. It doesn't look like it's gonna be Rusev. I think if Almas flips, you automatically have an Almas Nakamura program already set. Almas Samoa Joe already set. Almas Miz already set. Why not make him a babyface?
I'm with it, but
I'm not.
I'll just see the presentation of it.
As a heel, who can he go against right now?
John
He's
Cena?
not going against AJ right now. John, what? Shut the fuck out of here.
Ty Dillinger, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's nowhere for him to go as a heel.
He could face R-Truth, man.
Daniel Bryan, come on, we got Jeff Hardy.
He's got the Miz right now, so you're gonna be mad because Andrade's not gonna be on TV for the next couple of months because Miz and Daniel Bryan is gonna be a long-term feud. I don't see that feud ending until October.
Listen, you got Sin Cara, bro. They're tearing it up right now.
So he's just
see, Meelz, you're not even making sense. Meelz, you're not even trying to make it make sense.
Hold
you're
on,
just saying no.
Hold on. I'm saying no because I don't want it. Yeah. Yes, that's why I'm saying.
Sin Cara and Almas for 5 weeks? I don't know, man.
Yeah, exactly.
5 more weeks?
Like,
I mean, I'm with it. Whatever, Rusev, baby. Come on, Rusev.
There
we go.
He's a heel.
Rusev's
not going to turn face. He's not going to go face.
He's going to turn face. Come on.
No, he's not.
English, bro.
He's going to turn face.
Aiden English is going to be a face.
What?
I don't see Rusev.
The guy who cost him the match?
He
obviously
yes.
Did you see his promo?
It's called Rusev Day.
It's not called Aiden English Day.
Aiden is not exactly. Aiden is not his heater.
Aiden was his heater in the match. He's the one who did all the despicable things in the match, like pull up the turnbuckle. And that was the reason.
I'm talking about promo wise. Rusev can still give a promo and still get reactions. He doesn't need Aiden for that.
Of course, but I think Aiden's the heel.
You see, you're choosing not to see.
No, I'm not choosing not. I'm pretty sure Rusev. You're acting like Rusev has not been a face before this AJ Styles program. Why are you acting like it's so bizarre?
He wasn't a face. No, he wasn't.
What are you talking about? He was a face in the Fatal 4-Way match. He was a face in. When the fuck did he?
Please, Mom and Dad, stop fighting.
What are you talking about?
Meelz, he was never a face.
Oh Lord.
Daniel Bryan.
He was a tweener. He was never a face.
Okay, I'll give you tweener then. I'll give you tweener. He was a face in the thing. He got not cheered at WrestleMania. What are you talking about?
Lord.
That doesn't mean he's a face.
What do you mean? He did all the face
Era gets cheered.
He did all the face things, bro. Like, come on.
Undisputed Era gets cheered.
The way he came from whatever. It is what it is. I'm not arguing. I gotta go back to work.
Meelz, you're choosing not to see. I'm telling you, and everyone listening, I'm telling you, I think they might turn Almas face.
I mean, if
I really see it. The way he looked at AJ, at the end, he didn't attack him. They didn't necessarily shake hands either, but they didn't act. And even the post match video they put out after, it wasn't heelish.
I mean,
just saying.
If they do it, I'm not saying. If they do it, they do it. I don't really,
Oh, now you don't care. All right.
Anyway. I don't care. I didn't care in the beginning. You asked me a question and I responded.
Can the look that he gave AJ be the cover of this episode?
Please, I hope that they have a digital of that. I hope it the look. I'm telling you,
I'll look
that,
it up.
Because the thing is, not even Zelina got mad, and not even Zelina was super heelish at the end. It almost seemed as though, and I said the same. I said this about fucking Jinder Mahal last year, and you didn't believe me then either. Then I said I said this looked like it might be almost really kind of conceding the whole cocky shit and turning a new leaf.
I mean, if he does, he does.
I
wouldn't prefer it. I wouldn't prefer it. I honestly wouldn't prefer it. I would prefer him to stay as a heel and go against all the top faces on the brand. If you're asking me what I prefer,
which ones?
What the fuck, man? Let me just answer the fucking question. Hold on, let me answer the fucking question, bro. You guys are asking me a question. I'm answering the question. Everyone's making criticism. Like, you asked me a question. Would I prefer if he stayed face to turn heel? I would prefer he stayed heel. Just because it doesn't make sense doesn't mean anything. Like, I just prefer him as a heel.
It doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense. I just prefer this.
I just prefer him as a heel. It doesn't matter. It's a preference. It's a choice of preference.
He would have no program. Meelz, he would have no programs if he
I prefer him as a heel.
Because Brian's busy, AJ's busy, Jeff's busy. Him as a heel. Where would he go?
I don't fucking know.
Okay, so he's not gonna be on TV then.
Yeah, I don't care. I prefer him as a heel. If you're asking me what I prefer.
But
he's not gonna be on TV.
If you prefer him heel, he's not gonna be on TV, so you'll never see him as heel.
Okay. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. No, I don't know what to say. You ask me a question and then you get my response and then you ridicule me for my response. Like, what's the point of asking the question? Just say you want him as a face and he's going to turn face. I'd be like, okay, cool.
No, because I'm trying to have a debate and I'm trying to have a debate and I'm trying to show you why I'm saying it.
Listen, I'm not
saying I just want to have him against the top faces.
Listen, I'm not one of your little friends from All Deaf Digital, all right? Where you do the little faces. All right?
Hit the horn, bro. Hit the horn.
Oh my God! Hit the horn, baby! Come on.
I knew it.
So let's strap up and ride out.
I knew it. Listen. Let's cap.
All right. So one more point. Carmella and Becky. How do you feel about Carmella and Becky at SummerSlam?
It's fine.
Hey, Becky. He doesn't care anymore.
I really don't. No, not about anything. I don't care about the match. I thought it was fine. It is what it is.
I'm glad Becky's getting a shot because I know a lot of people are advocating for her.
I think she wins here. I think honestly, I think somebody flips on the women's side too. I think it might be Asuka, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm not gonna ask you, Meelz. So
it is what it is.
Just not.
Oh, and Becky has already beaten James Ellsworth, so hopefully she could get around that.
Yeah, apparently that's something that Asuka just couldn't wrap her.
She's gonna have she's gonna have to have someone in her corner or something.
She just couldn't ignore.
I think, and that's a good point, Meelz. Having Asuka in her corner keeps Asuka in the mix because I don't think that they want to exactly push Asuka out the mix.
Right.
I would enjoy that as well and have it be like a 3-way type thing. But yes, that was SmackDown. I would advise everyone to really just watch SmackDown. I thought it was really good. I thought even the Kofi Kingston Eric Young match was really, really good. Just a solid, great 2 hours of television. And once again, I know that we're kind of running long here, but thank everybody for listening to the show. Thanks to Cyrus for being on the show with us this week and getting to experience the arguments, the debates in real time.
Big facts.
No, I can't wait to not listen to this episode because I'm on it.
Shut up! Listen to the episode. Everyone listen to the episode. Don't just because you're on it now. You got to listen back. I listen back all the time. I think I sound smart.
But as always, we have we're kind of on a summer season. We're kind of like a lot of shows are on hiatus right now as we build up to new shows. But also always check that airs every single week. And you also have late fees. A new episode will be airing next week. A very surprise, cool episode that we're actually going to be recording this week in lieu of our Will Smith episode. So you guys get a bonus episode of late fees.
We got 2 belts coming this weekend too. 2 belts coming.
Yes, I was getting to 2 belts after late fees. I go Thursday, Friday, and then Sunday.
All right.
Damn,
cool.
I didn't forget about 2 belts.
All right.
Damn. Are you mad at me, Meelz? Are you?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Stop fighting.
No, I'm good.
I'm not. All right, cool. So yes, don't forget about 2 belts this week, and we also have some re-ups of our playlist coming very, very soon, including RNC Radio and R&B and RNC. I want to thank everyone for fucking with the Blush playlist as well. I thought that was extremely well done.
Really good playlist.
I thought
absolutely.
We've had a lot of good playlists over the last couple of weeks. So, just check it out on the Spotify. Find RNC Radio on Spotify. Look it up on Apple Music. It's all there. We got all the links. You can follow us at RNC Radio Live on Twitter. And that would pretty much be the hub for everything where you find everything.
And our Twitter is about to be very litty. So check out and follow us at RNC Radio Live. It will be very active in the next couple of weeks. So, shout out to Cameron Hay, who will be who has just joined the team, and he will be our social media coordinator here. So send a shout out to him at Cameron with a K _HAY. Shout out to him. And as always, thank you guys for listening to the A Show. Until next time, we'll have the latest and greatest in wrestling and NXT grades next week. Until next time, thanks Cyrus once again, and thanks to everybody for watching or listen. I always say watch, listening to the show. Until next time, peace.
Happy Rusev Day.